Hello everyone and welcome to Forza Horizon 5 for another video. Today we're going to be looking at the Lotus Evija. Evija or Evija, depending on how you want to pronounce it. So, here it is. I thought we'd go into Forza Vista first and have a look around. We've got a wing that goes up, some really cool tunnel-looking tail lights, massive rear diffuser. Front isn't particularly interesting, lots of aero features. Quite good looking. And the interior, in my opinion, is rather fantastic. It looks very futuristic. These buttons, these hexagonal... I think they're hexagonal. No, they're not. That would be 8. Do they have it? No, they're 6. Whatever 6 is. That is hexagonal. Right, right? Or is that 10? I don't remember. Who cares? The square steering wheel I'm not a fan of. I think it's pretentious and rubbish. But otherwise... it looks good. Lots of carbon fibre and not much seat. Let's drive this thing. So I have driven it before. This isn't a totally new experience. I've done one lap of the Goliath, and that was long enough to tell me how it drives, how it handles, and, well, generally what it's like. I haven't taken it off-road yet, so that's what we're doing now. What's a terrible idea. Seems to be going quite well, seeing as it's all-wheel drive. Slightly oversteery, but it's also quite oversteery on tarmac. Of course, you're not going to actually drive this thing on the gravel. You're going to drive it on the road or a racetrack. Now, we've already made our beautiful paint dirty. Right. So here we are in the city. Let's do what electric cars do. 0 to 100. I've forgotten the figures, so let's have a look at them. The official figures are 2.7 0 to 60 and 4.5 0 to 100. The 0 to 60 isn't that impressive. However, the 0 to 100, in my opinion, that's really good. But it gets even better, because in my opinion, the thing it's really good at is 30 to 180. Let me explain. And that would have been 180 had I not crashed. We've caught a fish. The cornering, like I say, it's slightly oversteery, but it's planted, so you're not going to just spin out. You're just going to slightly slide around a bit. As demonstrated quite nicely there. Of course I'm forcing it to show that it does that, but this is genuinely what it is like to drive. That was on purpose, that drift. So if you're going to go around corners, you're going to have to let off the pedal a bit, and then it's fine. But if you just send it through, you're going to have a hard time. Rather good turning circle. And overall, really nice to drive. You don't realise how fast it's going until you look at the speedometer, because it just delivers the power so smoothly. Whoa, I'm in a tunnel, so tunnel noises, of course, except it's an electric car, so how would it make tunnel noises? The brakes are, well, let's see. 0 to 100 to 0. That's a terrible 0 to 100, but there's 100 to 0. Could be better. Not bad. Sure. So let's have a look what type of paints you can get with this thing, because after all, you want to customise the thing. You don't leave it stock, because there's only one manufacturer colour, so everyone's going to have the same Lotus. The game hasn't been out long enough to have anything particularly important. We've got I think that's the one I'm currently in. There's a few of these glossy and colour transitions paint styles. Somewhere there was the Top Gear. Yeah, there it is, the Top Gear Evija, which looks quite good. And oh, that's one I actually wanted. Maybe I'm going to download that, because that's the car I actually wanted, just slightly brighter. Never mind. I'm just going to download it quickly and have a look. Right, let's go and have a look at the upgrades and tuning options. Custom upgrade, of course. We can make it an off-road or a drift car. Put in a roll cage. Flicks take it up to X class though. And we're already on semi-slicks, just not the Forza version. And how bad is the Forza Aero? It could be worse. That is long. Could probably put some fatter tyres on to make it slightly less oversteering. But what's the point in that? Just leave it as is. So, I am going to do a thing now in this car, and that thing is a race. Is there a race near here? Okay, the looks. I think it's very good looking. I don't think opinions are divided. I think most people think it's quite good looking. I don't know. Right, so here we've got a selection of other hypercars. Tesco's, Centenarios, that sort of thing. Behind us, oh, an electric competitor. You'll know the other cars are actually faster from 0 to 60. However, this doesn't really work because there's a corner in the way, so we'll have to sort of stick with the cars until where there's a slightly more straight. So the 0 to something is dreadful. Well, dreadful, not really, but it's not as good as it needs to be able to overtake people on the start-finish line. However, once you get above 100, the acceleration of this car is just so much more than the acceleration of the other cars that you just overtake everyone in that range. So you sort of get disappointed at the start because the launch isn't what you'd expect, but then this happens. I mean, the acceleration is consistent up until 220, which is its top speed. So funnily enough, the Forza speedometer doesn't actually say, it says 221, but the car's speedometer on the interior says 220. Right, the braking points are really weird because it doesn't handle like a traditional car. Which sounds weird because why would the engine have something to do with the handle? But the act of shifting down sort of turns it, if that makes sense. Which is something you can't do with this. So you always have to account for the slightly not as good turning, handling, whatever you want to call it. I think it's quite fun to drive. It's a bit challenging, but overall, it's quite good. It's not challenging like Ultima in X-Class, but it's not easy either. Slightly not enough straights on this track to show you the benefit of this 100. Just suddenly pulls at 150 more than all the other cars do. So they start to slow down the acceleration, but this just keeps going. Yep, and there's the oversteer I was talking about, because you slow down slightly too late because you can think you can do it, but you can't. And because of I don't know, it might be the electric thing, but it doesn't feel as fast as it is. So you think you can take it to a corner, but then you look down and see you're doing 200 miles an hour. So no, you can't take that corner because you're going way too fast. Oh, I like that metallic. It's the Monaco GP. So as long as you don't drive like an idiot, it's very controllable. Right, here we go. There's the acceleration I was talking about. And now you just sort of cheat by crashing into people and then you win the race. That's how this Forza works. Right, that proves my point. The 150 acceleration just keeps going. And you just win for straights. In a straight, you're going to beat people. You know what? Let's do a drag race to highlight that. That would actually have been a better idea. We've got Senna's and the Tesco. Oh, there's the electric Rimats, which we can compare it against. Slowest off the line. I was about to say but. There's the but. 150. It just pulls. Yeah. I think that proves my point that it's not the 0 to 60 time that's impressive about this car. It's what comes after 60. Well, after 120, but who cares? Anyway. However, there's a slight issue with this car. I say slight issue, it's rather massive. And that issue is, quite frankly, the price tag. Unless you've been AFK money farming, you can't afford this thing. Because it's a waste of money. Just buy something else if you want to go racing. Because this car costs 2.5 million credits. And on the auction house, even more. Wait, actually that means you could technically try and sell it off again for more than you bought it for, but I don't know, you'd probably want to keep it after having spent 2.5 million. Yeah, so the buyouts here are 2.7. You see starting bids at like 800,000 or actually 600,000 I saw the other day. They're not going to stay at that. They go up. They go way up. The starting bid may be 600,000, but it goes up to about 2 million in the end. So you're not getting a bargain by going on the auction house. But the car itself is wonderful, good looking, and very fun. That was... Did I just miss that by 5 meters? I bet I did. Why doesn't it tell me? Anyway, let's just end the video there. We've seen the pros, we've seen the cons. Overall, I like this car. But it doesn't make sense if you need to get a car to do racing in. If that's what you need, McLaren Senna? Porsche of some description? Not this is basically what I'm trying to say. This is cool to drive around and own, but not... Well, it's not really the best car for racing. And on that note, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like and or subscribe, so I know you want more videos like this, and then I can do more videos like this. Other than that, have a nice day. Goodbye!